Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, welcome back to Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Carson, and in this episode, I talk about time of abundance and time of shortage. I know this episode is kind of perfect now, in my unemployed state because what happened? Because I made this episode. This episode came to me way before that. Now during my employment state, but now that is now with this retirement thing now it actually is more relevant. It will be more relevant to you in the sense that you know your road to riches. You're coming out of poverty. You want to get rich and all those stuff. And then what will happen is that you never know. One day it might work out, and then boom, you're getting rich. You're getting richer and richer. And what happened is that you have been poor, and you have been poor, and you have been surviving. So there's lessons from being poor that kept you surviving. But now you're rich. You're getting richer now, and now you're thriving, and you're living a more lavish lifestyle and such. And what could happen is that due depending on the time, how long you have actually been rich for, you may have slowly forgotten the lessons that you had when you were poor. So what happened is that, like for example, if you do something like you get rich by investing in stocks or stuff like that, things that are very fragile, or like me, have a job, was getting income, and then boom, you're unemployed. Then what happened is that you were used to getting a certain amount of money a while, then boom, it just suddenly cut off. What happens is that you go away from a time of abundance now to a time of shortage. And then what happens is that if you do not recognize that you're in a time of shortage, you will still try to emulate the abundance lifestyle and then speed up your process back to poverty. But if you actually recognize when there's a time of abundance and a time of shortage, when the shortage comes, it will not affect you so bad because what will happen is that you will recognize, and then what happens is that you implement all the certain things that you learned during your poor state to basically solidify your foundation at that level that you're at to cushion the burden of your of you becoming period of shortage while working to get back into a level of abundance. So what do I mean in the sense that if you have listened to the podcast, you have heard like there's one episode when I was clearing my backyard and there was you the list about some shoes that I had from when I was growing up until now. And a lot of those shoes were basically not good. They were basically I wore them out, worn them out, and some of them I did not really like. So I wore them out. And then what happened is that when I was cleaning the backyard now, I just used those shoes to just basically clean it. And because the clean was so hard and long, it basically break it break all of the shoes were just basically broken by like a day or so. So I would just basically use them, throwing them away, and then just go to another old shoes that I had. And what happened was that it not is that was kind of somewhat a sense of abundance in the sense that I had quite a few shoes that I what happened with shoes was that I was a person that if I like a certain shoes, I would just basically wear that one shoes all the time until it stop stop until it breaks or until it gets old. And what happens is that I usually get a lot of shoes. So there will be a time where I have like 10 shoes but only wearing one. And then because of that, sometimes when I wear a new one, it breaks easily and stuff like that. So I said shoes was really something for me. But as as I said, there are certain shoes, those shoes that I wore during the backyard cleaning were shoes that I had that were those were the shoes that I would worn for a long time until they were broken. But I did not throw them away. And then this opportunity come where I was able to actually use them effectively and then actually get rid of them when it's done. So that's it. But there's some other shoes now that are in a similar state, but they are work shoes. These ones are, if you listen to when I was going to work, there were certain shoes that basically broken, that basically break on my way to work. And so by the time, what happened was that I basically have like five good solid working shoes, and then there's a lot of shoes that were working. These shoes now are more valuable. So if I would not do something rash, like just go throw them away at the first break, these one I could actually invest and maybe try to fix them. Because what happens is that the return on investment on those shoes can bring me more value than the other shoes that I actually thrown away. In the sense that if I were to get a work again and get a work again, the salary that I'll be getting, boom, will be basically worth, will basically be able to cover the cost of me repairing those shoes. And or instead of instead of me going out of my way, so it will be cheaper for me to actually repair those shoes and then just wear it normally, and then when it and so I just stay. So like for example, if I get to work again, I'll just basically just repair those shoes, get it um done, and then when I with like the first salary I get or the first few salaries because it's a good amount of shoes, and then what happens is that I would have like 10 shoes, 10 working shoes that I could actually wear per work cycle. Like for every month, I I could just basically for every 2 weeks in a month, I just basically could wear like two at different shoes every day. I know that's basic variety in my work attire now, due to the fact that I accumulated a lot of clothes that I did not throw away or such like. But and then what happened is that over time I don't have to worry about clothes. I'm basically not worrying about buying any clothes. I just basically just stacking money for a while. There's a lot of people that basically get work and then their first you income is just basically buying outfits and stuff like that. I would have that issue. I would just basically be like, bro, I'm just stacking this money to do other stuff. So that's how I create my abundance because during the I recognize this is my period of shortage, and then what would happen is that I do not want to actually make mistakes of basically doing something like go throwing away stuff or which could be valuable later on when I need it the most. Like, in this period of no income or not much income coming in, you basically have to recognize that okay now you're in a poor state. So just basically what I would do just basically solidify my foundation. Just basically get an understanding of what I am spending my money on and then see what's important and what's not important. So now, boom, and realize the expenses that I have. So what else would I speak about also? Like for example, my phone. My phone is not in the best shape now. Even that I was working, I could have actually get that phone replaced. But because of the unemployment, there's a more incentive for me to actually keep that phone as long as possible, just to do it, just so I'm have the ability to actually use it. But when I get when I get to work now, maybe if I work for like for example a month or two, I could actually get replace the phone with a better one, more solid one, and do better protection methods on the phone so that it actually lasts a longer period. But I would not do that now because the quality phone is really expensive. I can't afford it at this point in time. That's the thing as well. Understand the importance of abundance and the time of abundance and the time of shortage. I'm not in the time of shortage. You can't make um quality purchases. S- You can make go ahead and make quality purchases at this time. If you listen to my quality versus quantity episode, you can't go making quality purchases at this time because those quality purchases are expensive. So what you have to do is just basically just try your best, import, and these are the times where you import. You take good time to take care of the things that you have. These are the important times. The times of shortage is where you kind of learn the most lessons on how to actually be resourceful, how to actually save on things, how you learn your best recipe and how to cook and such like. You learn a lot of stuff to just basically keep you afloat. And then what happens is that these period as well builds on your compound interest. Builds on your compound interest because what happens is that now, as I said, if you listen to a few episodes, I'm in a certain position now where I could actually bargain better salary prices. So with me being the shortage now and learning the lessons of being poor in the shortest state, when I'm basically get an interview for work again and getting better salary, bro, it's like I hit the lotto again. It's like you're hitting the lotto again because you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's like my salary got doubled and I'm used to being so poor and the knowledge of the knowledge in the time of shortage is still with you, so you're making smart decisions now with the money because you're saying you don't want to go back to that shortage period again after what I experienced. So that's the difference between why, for example, a lot you can win the lotto, then go back. 70% of the people go back broke after a few years because what happens is that when they go from a period of shortage to a period of abundance, the money is so large that they forget they may have forgotten the what the lessons that the period of shortage was teaching them. So when the money start running out and they're going back to the period of shortage, they do not recognize that's the thing, they do not recognize it because they forgot how what poor feels like. It's like they you're so you forgot, so they do not recognize that the period of shortage is coming, and then what happens is that when it's here, you do not know how to actually go back to the time of abundance because what happens is that your period of abundance came basically did not would be in a sense that it did not came through your effort of you basically putting in the work or such like that. It just came somewhat out of luck. So you did not wait, even though you get the money through luck, you did not take the time to actually learn about what you can do with the money or such. So that when you approaching your time of shortage, you can say, okay, I can just basically do certain things to actually start me back up again at my time of abundance. Because you do not take the time to learn about it. You have been just basically just getting it, happy that you got it, and just basically flaunting. Like when the time of shortage comes now, you'll be like, oh, what should I do? What should I do? Then boom, you're back to being a period of shortage, and then what happens is that drought could be for an even longer time than before because it's it's hard to win the lotto the first time. It's even harder to win it the second time. Or that's the next thing too. You may actually, in your period of going back to time of shortage, you might actually start spending the money trying to win the lotto again, and then you basically lose the money faster trying to get rich overnight again because the habits. So as at the time of shortage really teaches some good lessons, and when you it's really some important time to actually build vital um, habits so that when you get rich you kind of stay rich, because if you do not build those habits from early, from when you're poor, and that's and that a certain thing whatever certain habits you can't just build when you're poor, but there are certain things that you can basically implement as the start, like for example just keeping your health. If your health is your wealth, if you just basically remember that, regardless of how poor you are, if you're trying to keep, if you're able to keep healthy, you're still in the game. And then, and health is a lot of things, hygiene, diseases, and all those stuff. Once again, got those basic things down and it's implemented in your head, then you're basically on the road to riches. And then when the period of shortage come, like when you lose your money, like when you do something and you lose all your money, your perspective is in check to see like, okay, money was not the most important thing. It's important, but my health is my wealth. My time is my wealth and stuff like that. Then you can basically, in a period of shortage, realize that, okay, in my time of abundance, I've created a lot of experiences. I could actually leverage those experiences to go back in my time of abundance. Like, for example, the 10 months of employment that I did just now is good way to add to my resume so I could actually apply for a better job in my period of shortage. So that's basically the essence of what this episode is saying, is that there's going to be ups and downs on your road to riches. On your road to riches. But the thing about it is that what I've learned is that in your the two things you have to realize is that you have to able to recognize your period of shortage, realize when you're actually going down, you're actually getting poorer or it's not going up, and then be able to actually learn the lessons during the shortage and during the abundance, so that when each of them comes, you know how to basically come out of the period of, you know how to actually survive in the period of shortage and then move out of the period of shortage, and then when you're in time of abundance you want to actually maintain the time of abundance, because that's the important thing, maintaining it. The one of the hard part, the first hard part is actually getting the abundance, I know that. The second part is actually maintaining it. That's the second hard part, I'm telling you. So once you focus on doing those stuff, then you're basically on the start. So that's it. This road to riches is a lot of stuff. It's so complex, because the thing about it is that riches is a lot of stuff. It's not, and that's the thing that's important. This is important. You're gonna get from this episode. You you can't define rich, because it's going to change as you go up, as you change. That's the reason why, for example, I can't going through that 9 to 5 experience, and it was really, and the income that I got, it gave me the perspective to say, okay, I watch all these videos about all these billionaires and stuff like that, but I have not actually taste, I have not actually viewed in real life what a billionaire lifestyle is, because I that 9 to 5 experience actually just basically just opened my eye to say, yeah, it's one thing to actually see people and hear people talking about that lifestyle and seeing it on TV and stuff, but it's another thing to actually live the lifestyle. There's nothing like living the lifestyle. So that's basically, so this episode just basically you to recognize, to just basically alert you of those two things that will happen. But then when it happens to you, the fact that you hear this episode, you'll be like, okay, I recognize that I'm in my period of shortage now. And the next important thing is, as I said, I'm I'm not a billionaire or anything like that. But you want to actually say, okay, boom, you're on your road to riches. Say, boom, you become a billionaire. This lesson is relevant no matter if you're a thousandaire or millionaire or billionaire. It's a concrete lesson. It's just that what happens is that at each level, your period of shortage is going to feel different. It's going to feel different when you're, so it does that you have to recognize it at each level and say, okay, during my period of shortage of being a millionaire, if I do not actually implement the learn recognize that I'm in my period of shortage of being a millionaire, I might fall back to being a 100,000 a year. I will lose my millionaire status. So when I recognize that now, I say, okay, I just put in the, the things that I've learned to actually invest somewhere or such. Just basically cushion or solidify my status in the millionaire status. Then when I'm basically solidified now and the shortage kind of flatten, then I make a move to say boom. And then all of a sudden you make a move, and then you're making it to the 2 million status, and then you make it a two, then you make it a 5 million, then you make it a 10 million, and then all of a sudden some bad economy comes, and then you say like, oh my god, I'm going back into my period of shortage again in the 10 million status, and then boom, you take a loss, and you say, remember the time of shortage? The time of shortage will just basically bring you back to maybe 5 million, and then when the economy is coming back again, you basically you, as you learn the experience. So you basically boom, making smart decision again, and then you go from 5 million to 10 million quicker, and then boom, 15, and then so because what happens when you recognize this period of that's what I usually watch this as well. That's what when I usually watch YouTube people when they will just say the economy is going to fall and tell you about you must invest in gold and all those stuff. That's basically what this episode is talking about. The thing about it is that there's a lot of analysts out there and it's basically trying to analyze and telling you what to do. But the thing about it is that what I realize is that only you know what to do. I can't tell you to go invest in gold if you know nothing about gold. I can just tell you that what happens is that you're going to recognize the shortage, and then what happens is that the knowledge and your experiences is what going to either get you back poor or keep you in the game long enough so that when the shortage pass, you can get back richer and rich again, and then richer. So that's basically what this episode is all about. It's not me just giving advice about what to do when you're in your shortest stage. It's just to recognize this episode to just teach you that you're going to have you the higher you go, there's a lot of things that can happen to just make you fall off. So you have to be able to recognize those things and then um navigate against it. Navigate against it. So that's what you have to basically do. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/CSSB/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
One of the things that, this 9 to 5 journey kind of got me into was, with the work schedule, the trials of coming back home. One thing was, like, every time I came home, I was so tired, bro. I barely, some nights, I couldn't even get to eat dinner. Like, I was so tired, like, well, not eat, get to finish my dinner. It's like, yo, it's like, yeah, I came home and I would like have this food, bro, and I would heat it up and ready to eat. And it's like I start eating, and then for some reason, boom, like I just feel